atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war.
Водяными струями удалось приподнять пламя над устьем на высоту 10 метров.
A war today or tomorrow, if it led to nuclear war, would not be like any war in history. A full-scale nuclear exchange lasting less than 60 minutes with the weapons now in existence could wipe out more than 300 million Americans, Europeans, and Russians, as well as untold millions elsewhere. And the survivors, as Chairman Khrushchev warned the communist Chinese, the survivors would envy the dead. If only one thermonuclear bomb were to be dropped on any American, Russian, or any other city, whether it was launched by accident or design, by a madman or by an enemy, by a large nation or by a small, from any corner of the world, that one bomb could release more destructive power on the inhabitants of that one helpless city than all the bombs dropped in the Second World War.
Today, almost 50 years after these words of President Kennedy, the cloud of thermonuclear war still hangs over our heads. Faced with the collapse of the world monetary system, the British Empire's drive for general war is fully underway. From the murder of Gaddafi in Libya, to the push for military intervention into Syria, to Israel's drive to attack Iran, the world is being pushed to the brink of general warfare. In an age of thermonuclear weapons, general warfare means thermonuclear warfare. It does not simply mean unimaginable amounts of death and destruction. It threatens the very existence of our species. But this present deadly state of affairs did not have to be.
Technology that spawned our great industrial base and that have given us the quality of life we enjoy today. What if free people could live secure in the knowledge that their security did not rest upon the threat of instant U.S. retaliation to deter a Soviet attack, that we could intercept and destroy strategic ballistic missiles before they reached our own soil or that of our allies? I know this is a formidable technical task, one that may not be accomplished before the end of this century. But isn't it worth every investment necessary to free the world from the threat of nuclear war? We know it is. I call upon the scientific community in our country, those who gave us nuclear weapons, to turn their great talents now to the cause of mankind and world peace, to give us the means of rendering these nuclear weapons impotent and obsolete.
The area of maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle in the lower atmosphere.
The method we must use is called layered strategic ballistic missile defense. The first line of defense is beam weapons, which are assigned to destroy Soviet missiles at the moment those missiles are launched.
The Strategic Defense Initiative, crafted by Lyndon LaRouche and adopted by President Reagan, was on the verge of becoming a reality. A joint Soviet-US space-based ballistic missile system of defense employing new physical principles, such as the particle beam lasers of the Soviets and other yet-to-be-discovered technologies, would render thermonuclear weapons obsolete. But the SDI did not happen. The hand of the British Empire stepped in to stop the progress of man. through the Soviet Union's British puppets, Yuri Andropov and Mikhail Gorbachev, along with the British puppets inside the United States, the SDI proposal was shut down. And instead of an unprecedented science driver program, we were given the London Wall Street swindle. A swindle which has now brought the entirety of the transatlantic region of the planet into a wretched state of physical economic collapse. A swindle that has brought us to the edge of thermonuclear war.
An estimated 30,000 people marched through Athens Thursday in a second wave of protests against civil service pay cuts.
Molotov cocktails, tear gas canisters, and rocks flying through the air.
Had the SDI been adopted, we would not be in this mess today. We were right, I was right in particular, and those who didn't listen to my message failed and were failures. And all the things they didn't do that they should have done was the thing that made possible the present day threat of immediate extinction of the human species.
There are over 20,000 thermonuclear warheads in existence. What if they were deployed? The destructive capabilities of the United States is typified by our Ohio-class submarines. Each submarine can carry up to 24 Trident missiles. Missiles that can travel at a speed of over 13,000 miles per hour and have the ability to hit targets 7,000 miles away. Each missile is equipped with 4 to 8 thermonuclear warheads. Either the W-76 warhead with the 100 kiloton yield, or the more destructive W-88 with a yield of 475 kilotons. For comparison, Little Boy, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima, had a 14 kiloton yield, and Fat Man, dropped on Nagasaki, 23 kilotons. Those were atomic bombs. Today, we are dealing with thermonuclear bombs, each being 8 to 40 times more powerful than Hiroshima. With 4 W-88s on each Trident missile, 24 missiles on each submarine, and 14 US submarines carrying them, that's almost 400 warheads, each with a 475 kiloton yield. A huge destructive capability. In Russia, their intercontinental ballistic missile, the SS-27, has a range of 6,500 miles and delivers a yield of 550 kilotons. Or take Russia's SS-18, nicknamed Satan, of which there are 6 known to exist, that has a range of 10,000 miles and will deliver a single warhead with an 8,000 kiloton yield. If Satan was launched on New York City, the conflagration radius, within which all people will die within 24 hours, would be approximately 4 miles. In China, they have the DF-5A, which can be equipped with a single warhead of a 4,000 kiloton yield, or 4 to 6 independently targetable warheads with a 150 to 350 kiloton yield each. The range of this ICBM is 8,000 miles, making the west coast of the United States a very easy target. If we were to enter into a global thermonuclear conflict, in a matter of minutes, we would end civilization as we have known it. Major cities across the globe would be wiped off the map. Billions would be dead. And as Kennedy quoted, the living would envy the dead. But does this mean extinction? Besides the death and destruction on the ground, thermonuclear war has the ability to transform the climate of the Earth. Just as the explosion of a large volcano, like that of the 1815 Tambora eruption in Indonesia, that blotted out the sun and produced the year without a summer, so too can the explosions of thermonuclear weapons cause global climate change. It is estimated that an exchange of just 50 Hiroshima-sized bombs each between Pakistan and India, far less than 1% of the world's arsenal, if dropped on mega-city targets in each country, would create climate change unprecedented in recorded human history. 5 million tons of black carbon smoke would be emitted into the upper troposphere, and then, once heated by the sun, lifted even higher into the stratosphere. It is estimated that within 49 days, that smoke would spread out and blanket the entire Earth, blocking enough sunlight to create a climate like that of the Little Ice Age. If the world were to enter a global conflict, deploying 1/3 of the existing nuclear weapons arsenal, there would be so much smoke that the sun's rays would be blocked from reaching the Earth's surface, causing temperatures to drop below freezing across the entire globe for months, killing virtually all photosynthetic processes and hence the life that depends on them. While the sulfate particles released by a volcanic explosion remain airborne for about 2 years, the smoke from nuclear blasts could last a decade. On top of the death and destruction of major cities across the globe, the biosphere itself, the delicate envelope of the Earth, which has taken billions of years to develop to the point that human life could exist, would be destroyed. We are talking about the mass extinction of the human race. But this does not have to happen. As the monetarist empire crumbles, nations like Russia and China are moving away from a monetarist economy and are looking to the policies of physical wealth creation through large-scale economic development and pioneering the new frontiers of Arctic development and man's colonization of space. Russia has asked the United States to join it in the adventure of that new frontier. Not only has Russia proposed a joint program to develop the Bering Strait, but Russia has offered the principles of the 1980s SDI back to the United States in the form of the strategic defense of the Earth. So far, the United States has chosen to cling to its fantasies of Wall Street and the City of London.
Today, the United States remains our most important ally.
Instead of accepting Russia's offer for joint economic development, it plays the role of a patsy for the crumbling British Empire. As Russia and China refuse to submit to the system of empire, the British use the weapons arsenal of the United States to attempt to threaten them into submission. It is this clash between the system of empire and the fight for the human species to take control of the planet that drives us to war. If we remove Barack Obama from the White House, we remove the US weapons arsenal from the control of the British and overthrow the chessboard. By removing Barack Obama, you open up the United States for serious collaboration with both Russia and China, and again unleash the pioneering spirit of America that gave the world a temple of liberty and a beacon of hope.
The world has been close to war before, but now man, who survived all previous threats to his existence, has taken into his mortal hands the power to exterminate his species 7 times over. I stand here tonight, facing west, on what was once the last frontier. From the lands that stretch 3,000 miles behind us, the pioneers gave up their safety, their comfort, and sometimes their lives to build our new West. They were not the captives of their own doubts, nor the prisoners of their own price tags. They were determined to make the new world strong and free, an example to the world, to overcome its hazards and its hardships, to conquer the enemies that threaten from within and out. Some would say that those struggles are all over, that all the horizons have been explored, that all the battles have been won, that there is no longer an American frontier. But I trust that no one would agree with that sentiment. For the problems are not all solved, and the battles are not all won. And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s, the frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, the frontier of unfilled hopes and unfilled threats. The new frontier is here, whether we seek it or not. Beyond that frontier are uncharted areas of science and space, unsolved problems of peace and war, unconquered province of ignorance and prejudice, unanswered questions of poverty and surplus. But I believe that the times require imagination and courage and perseverance. I'm asking each of you to be pioneers towards that new frontier. My call is to the young in heart, regardless of age, to the stout in spirit, regardless of party, to all who respond to the scriptural call, be strong and of good courage, be not afraid, neither be dismayed. Have we the nerve and the will? Can we carry through in an age where we will witness not only new breakthroughs in weapons of destruction, but also a race for mastery of the sky and the rain, the ocean and the tides, the far side of space, and the inside of men's minds? That is the question of the new frontier. That is the choice that our nation must make. All mankind waits upon our decision. A whole world looks to see what we shall do. And we cannot fail that trust, and we cannot fail to try.
The new frontier is not a set of promises. It is a set of challenges. It appeals to our pride, not to our security. It requires imagination and courage and perseverance. Look at what mankind is capable of. We are a mighty geological force. Why is it that thermonuclear fusion has so far only been employed as a weapon of mass destruction? Why have we not used it as a means for propelling a manned space flight to Mars? Why have we never gone back to the moon? Why did we give up on Kennedy's dreams of the new frontier? Because when the British assassinated the Kennedy brothers, we submitted to the rules set by oligarchy. Today, we stand on the edge of a new frontier. But to achieve it, we must destroy the oligarchical principle. It is not just holding us back, it threatens to exterminate our species. It is now that we must choose to scientifically progress or die.